All right, this is kind of a tricky problem. If you remember back to middle school, you couldn't divide by 0. That was a problem. Nobody liked it. Everything kind of blew up. This is going to be very similar to that. We can't divide by the letter I. And I cannot be in the denominator. It can be in the numerator, but it can't be in the denominator. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply by I to kind of solve all this. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the opposite of the denominator. So instead of, it's 1 minus 8i, so we're going to multiply it by 1 plus 8i. If you had another problem that was 1 plus 4i, you'd multiply it by the opposite, which would be 1 minus 4i. So all it is you're just changing the positive to a negative and multiplying it by the exact same thing. And you're going, well, why on earth would we do that? Well, let's take a look at some foiling and see what's going on. I'm just going to look at the denominator first and just FOIL out that denominator. So my denominator is this, 1 minus 8i times 1 plus 8i. And let's see what happens. So our first is 1. Our outer is plus 8i. Our inner is minus 8i. And our last is negative 64i squared. All right. And so if we go through our rules of I, our I is equal to square root of negative 1, and I squared is that squared, which just gets rid of the square root, so that's negative 1. So I squared is negative 1. So this becomes 8i minus 8i, 8i minus 8i. That's just going to cancel out. This cancels out. This gets combined and is gone. And so then what we have is 1 minus 64 times negative 1, or 1 plus 64, or 65. So our denominator is 65, and what we see is the I is gone, which is exactly what we wanted. And the numerator actually becomes super easy. So we know we have a 65 in the denominator. The numerator just gets distributed, so 9 times 1 is 9, and 9 times 8 is 72. I don't forget the I right there, but that's the way we write it. That's the simple way to write it. Some people prefer to split this up. I actually think this is the appropriate way to write this. All of our I's are written in the format of A plus BI. So it has to actually be written in this format. Okay. I don't know if we care if it's an improper fraction or not. I don't know that that really matters. I do want to check to see if there's any reduction that can happen. And it is 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So I'm not going to do that reduction in my head. Yeah, I don't see reduction, but you're always going to check to see if that can reduce. 65 is just 5 times 13, right? And 72 is not divisible by 13, so we're good to go. That's not going to reduce at all, because 72 is not divisible by 5. 9 is not divisible by 5. It's not divisible by 13, so neither one of these can be reduced. So, good, cool. Let me know if you need anything else.